There comes a moment when you stop trying to explain the abuse away, when something clicks and you realize this isn't love and it never was. That's awareness. But what comes next is, I think, even harder. It's acceptance. And that's what we're talking about today. If awareness is that moment when the curtain starts to lift, acceptance is when the full light floods in and you can't unsee what you now know. This is where many people start to ask themselves, was it always this bad? Did I imagine the good times? Why did I stay and why didn't I see it sooner? Acceptance isn't easy. In fact, it can be harder than awareness because now you're not just waking up to the truth, you're beginning to feel the full weight of it. And that's when it starts to ache in ways that you just never expected. This stage brings grief, and not just the grief for the relationship, but grief for your younger self, the version of who tried so hard to hold things together, grief for the time you lost in that relationship, grief for the parts of you that were silenced or blamed so many times, grief for the energy you poured into the relationship trying to fix something that was never yours to fix, and grief for the love you gave so freely to someone who only saw it as a tool to control you. And alongside that grief, often there's shame. You might think to yourself, I let this happen. I should have known better. How could I have been so blind? But let me tell you something clearly. Listen, please. You were not blind. You were in survival mode. You were trying to love someone who made it unsafe to even question them. You were trying to find connection in a place that demanded your silence. You were adapting to what you believed was love because the narcissist trained you to confuse loyalty with self-abandonment. I want you to take a moment here and draw a subtle distinction because you've likely heard of the term radical acceptance. And I want to make clear to you that this isn't what I'm talking about. Radical acceptance is a therapeutic idea of releasing resistance to what it is. And that may come later. But this stage of acceptance I'm talking about now is so raw. It's about admitting the truth of what happened without minimizing, rationalizing, or reaching for hope where there is none. This is where you stop defending their reputation and start protecting your reality. If you're in this stage, the acceptance stage, I want to gently ask you, what are you still hoping they'll understand or acknowledge? Maybe it's an apology that never came, or the hope that someday that they're going to see the damage they caused and truly see it and understand it. But it can also keep you tethered to someone who's never going to give you what you deserve. What pain are you still carrying in silence? The kind that lingers in spaces that you just don't talk about, not even with yourself. The pain you minimize because you think other people might have had it worse. But the pain doesn't need to compete to be valid. What would it mean to believe, really believe, that the way they treated you was never your fault? To stop explaining it, to stop excusing it, to stop reshaping your story to make somebody else more comfortable. I'm just asking these questions. It's all part of acceptance. You don't have to answer them yet. You just have to let them echo inside you long enough to soften something that's been hardened by blame. Just asking these questions is part of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with what happened. It means you start arguing with reality. And that's what allows the healing to begin. So if you're in this stage, whether you've left it or you're still there emotionally, I want you to hear this. You are not weak. You're not too late for anything, and you are not broken. You're standing in a place of truth, and truth will never fail you the way that person did. In the next episode, I'll address what comes next, action alignment and reclaiming your life. But for now, let's stay with this. You don't have to rush. Acceptance is not a finish line. It's a quiet, necessary turning point. And if this speaks to you or you're just beginning this stage, I invite you to comment, I am Annie, because every time someone steps into the truth, it makes the path brighter for someone else still finding their way through. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know you matter. You're defying the odds and reclaiming your voice. And for those of you who are new to this podcast, I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney and author of Undercurrent. It's a story about a woman named Annie who finds the courage to break away from her narcissistic marriage and the extraordinary life waiting for her on the other side of narcissistic abuse. Annie isn't just one person. She's any man, any woman who's ever experienced narcissistic abuse. And as always, I want you to know that you are stronger than you ever believed. I want you to be tenacious and never give up on what you believe in. And to everyone here, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for building this beautiful community. We're strong. We're going to keep growing and we're going to keep healing together. And yes, we're all going to be okay. I appreciate you. And until next time, take good care of yourself. Thank you so much. Bye.